Okay.
It would go up, assume that we use that tax rate.
$500.
It would go up $40. From
Per 100.
532, no. Total tax on average homestead, 532.61, and then if we use that tax rate, it would be 579.40.15. So multiply whatever the value increase is times the tax rate, and that'll give you.
Oh, I got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So that's right now again.
So it's tax rate times the taxable value of the property
Yes, ma'am.
divided by the 100.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got it.
So that's kind of where we are, but again, we have not given that proposed tax rate simply because I still would like to hear from the council. We will be working on it this week.
So this is just what we have to do with state legislative makes us vote on,
We
it
have
makes
not-
us go forward.
Yes.
Okay.
Next week's gonna be, it's gonna be good.
Next week we'll have the actual
We're setting
confirmation.
parameters. So again, what, the 0.88 cents, anything we do over that, we have to get voter approval.
Yes,
So
so
just-
that's too high.
Yeah. All right, with that, Jackie, thank you. Brett, thank you. We've got a motion and a second. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, that's the end of our action items. We've got two other things to discuss. Item 6F, discuss revenue expense projections for 2022 and 23 fiscal year. Fred, you have the floor.
Jackie, you wanna-
Can we get those for on the book?
Jackie, I don't know if they're on
The,
the revenue expenses.
I have,
yes, we do.
I have the interest and sinking,
That's what we just talked about.
revenues. I have for the general fund right here.
Oh, okay, I see. No,
We don't have
No. It
Fire
didn't.
fund.
no, I don't think we did.
Okay,
We're gonna have to get that, because I think what you see is just the interest in sinking.
okay. Do you want me to make a copy of this now or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please, yeah.
Okay. I have the general fund now.
Okay, please make copies of all those.
Okay.
Sorry, Council, we'll get those to you.
I'm
just
so
in-
sorry.
Fred,
Yes, ma'am.
speaking of, when you were saying about the cop stuff that we talked about, their equipment and stuff, did you look into that to see if you could get it with that rescue plan, or?
I have not, no, ma'am, I have not. I got back
Okay,
from vacation
because
yesterday.
that's one thing that really concerns me, because we're already starting school, they need their stuff. They really do, and if they need anything else, they need to bring it forward too.
Anything else?
Well, because he's
Sir, your
being,
vacation was over yesterday.
he's actually being conservative, you know, he's new, he's being conservative, but if they need other stuff, if they're not equipped for it, they need to bring it forward.
Our cops asked for that too. They were asking today.
I know, they need that, they need their stuff.
Well, that's why your body didn't go in, because they didn't show. That's what they said.
They didn't go in.
So, Mr. Flores, ask for your stuff.
Ask right now, the wallets are open.
Only today.
Right today.
Davina does this look like my wife probably does, like that.
I was in Houston last week, Laredo left, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So,
We need that PDBT to kick in.
No, I'm just saying.
When
because
is it?
Pretty soon, actually. We're just waiting on the state.
They need their stuff, like, they really, if we have something at the school or any other, they need to have their equipment, they really do, that's really
you know where
important.
they're.
The shows are like-
Actually, I think he asked for all the shoes and body and stuff, they don't even like to do that.
You got to show. But we didn't have to drop him in the
I made 10.
I've been looking at the website. All of them. Budget here, budget there.
I know, budget here, budget there.
Got it?
I didn't hear you.
Jackie, is there anything else you need copies of?
That's the general fund one that I have.
From the ERP.
Just the general fund. No, I don't believe so. This is just the general.
All right, Jackie, you have the floor.
City in our surrounding area that have the show.
So you see here, council, this is the revenues for the general fund. as of right now, it is balanced. These are without any changes. I know because we're coming out of, COVID and the way the projections are, I actually went back 3 years and tried to take an average from, our past years' actuals, so I could get, a better projection of what was going on since we are coming out of COVID. I know it's not gone, but these are the projections that I am projecting for, the general fund.
And what you see on that, council, is there's an increase. I know you don't see the detail, but I think if you go back to your budgets, I think those were handed out last week. I think you'll see the taxes is, of course, your property taxes. Your property taxes, the STEC, the payment from STEC is also part of that, and sales tax. We are projecting an increase in sales tax, I think of $300,000 extra. I think we normally budget around $2 million, and that this year we're budgeting around $2.3 million. And then you have STEC payment is about $600,000. That's pretty significant decrease for us, what we were projecting last year. And then property taxes, the other.
And this does include the step decrease of the 600K, so this is already factored in here for the step payment.
Mayor.
Yes, Councilwoman. Rivas.
Okay, on the service center, I see that it's budgeted 97,000 for 2021. It's now budgeted for 419,000.
That was my question also.
You
Is that a
more staff.
typo or-
You put all of the staff over there.
Yes, we had moved all the staff to, the service center.
What staff?
We
Because they don't follow.
had the janitorial staff,
The janitorial staff,
and then we had the mechanic out there. And then fuel expense was another increase for us.
yes, fuel is in the service center.
You'll see that
Yeah, we
budget
combined it.
increase.
We transferred it.
Okay, but how many staff members are you because you're looking at a $300,000 increase in
Mhm.
staff.
Mhm. Well, I'm not saying it's all staff. I'm
Okay,
saying
so
that-
that's okay, so we have janitors, how many janitors do we have in
Yes.
staff?
You have one facilities guy, one janitorial staff, and then you have a
One
mechanic,
mechanic?
and then, I'm trying to think, that's all that's there.
And on the fuel, there's not what the state's giving back and those, what's it called for cities, counties, oh my goodness, I wrote it down on my notes.
A rebate,
It's for gas.
part of the gas tax or something?
I don't know, the president did it where he lowered the price, but it was, there's another, oh my God, what is it called?
Hmm.
It's for like cities and counties, schools. It's like a rebate.
But we do get a rebate, but it's not, I mean, when we budgeted on that, I think we increased that budget $40,000. That was an
Okay.
increase from, but I don't know about a rebate.
I would just like a clear explanation of the
I get it.
$22,000 that we're increasing the service.
Mhm.
If we don't do that, we're way under.
Yeah. I think that's, we can get that detail.
Yes,
And I just don't wanna move people's salaries because they all belong to a department.
But they're all, what we try to do as best we can is try to basically get folks that get paid, their fund, their salaries come out of the general fund, which would be all police, parks. These folks, because they fall under facilities, it's a general fund function. We don't put them under utilities, which is
Okay.
another fund. So that's why we use the services.
But that's just a big increase. I don't think we have that many employees
Yeah.
under that and gas.
I have to think, to look back to
I
see.
can
Like a detail.
sure get you the detail, and I know that like on the fuel, we had budgeted in for last budget was 60,000, and we are now, year to date, I know we are well over that. So I had projected 100,000, just to be on the safe side for the fuel side.
Oh, that's way too much.
Is
No,
it
we're over 60.
We're over
Yeah,
60,
60
we're already pushing, almost.
So we were
close to-
budgeted at 60,000, right? And out of that 60,000, what's the rebate that we get out of that?
You're talking about, I don't know, I'm not clear what.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
think
we have to.
But I know I wrote it down because I was watching the news on it, and there was a council meeting in San Antonio, and they were talking about gas rebate.
These
A
guys,
gas rebate?
some
I
of these,
can
Yeah.
look.
Yeah, I wrote it down, but.
I think I know, I think that was a proposal, I don't think that went through, it was the government gonna delinquent their federal tax on gas. I don't think, I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
that.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
that's what it is, yeah.
Hmm.
I wrote it down somewhere, I don't know where I wrote it down. Okay.
Council, any other questions as far as, and Fred, what, for the, on the revenue side, on the taxes, what rate did you use, our current rate?
Right now, we're using a rate of, right now, we believe that figure has a rate of the 88 cents, okay? But again,
88
part,
cents?
yes, part of what we're looking at again on that end is if we need to make cuts, if we need to add, part of what we're, again, the other thing is, we took out, one of the important things that I know that we've talked about was the streets. We took out $300,000 streets, with the EMS contract was taken out, that's $375,000. So we had to take some things out of the budget that were included last year. I know that there were some other things, we were also trying to help out with the food bank. That was another one that I can recall. And then just having to pay back, in essence, just that. We purchased 5 police cars, and again, that's affecting your entire tax rate. So when I tell you 88 cents, 42 cents of that is going back to pay debt. So we have, in essence, 45 cents of that 88 cents to pay for operating expenses. So when I say that we're starting to get some of these payments that we have to pay back, again, we get it. I mean, we have to pay some of that debt back, and we're doing better, but.
Well, we take away every year.
But we could, again, that's again,
That's
part of
what
the
we do.
discussion is what
Yeah.
the council, what y'all's pleasure is, because we could, what we could do again on that is we could make some cuts, we could make some,
Because sometimes we
changes,
take
adds.
away and sometimes we add. It
Yeah.
just depends on the situation and what the city is, what they're needing at that time.
Right, and some of this is not, I know some of the wish list stuff is in there, I think Parks had some wish list stuff that's put in there.
It's probably the $300,000.
I don't know about that, but there is some wish list stuff that was, I believe was in there. So on that end, we could look at some of those wish list items and take those out, but I would, on the other end, any ads, again, there's not very much money in there at all for streets. We're gonna try this thing out with the county with the, when is it, Hector, when are they scheduled to do that? Did they mention that?
Task order number 2, Thursday.
The first task order's been done?
Well, first one was right here beside us.
No, I'm talking the one that we're doing.
With the county, Thursday is the commencement date.
So
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Thursday will be the date that the county, works on that road, which is
South Moreno between Comal and Washington.
South Moreno. So that'll be our first 2 blocks of roads, 3 blocks. But it is something that we did budget this year, for roads, but we're taking, last year, but we are taking that out of bond money. Whatever money we spend out of for street works. That's pretty much the extent of what, the big items that we took out.
Mayor, I would just like that breakdown of the 300,000 and 22, that increase. And maybe we could see if it's all really needed in there, because that's what they're proposing.
Yeah.
To maybe put it in
Somewhere
different
else.
departments,
Yes.
break it up. Okay, I
Thank
can
you.
do that.
That's all the questions I have.
And Mr. Mayor, the
Councilman
only
Trujillo.
thing, Mr. Reyes, is I would want something, a breakdown in every department. I
Okay.
think,
Yeah.
that's
You got-
including,
Wasn't that in
I think that was in last.
Last
budget.
budget.
including salaries and everything. And
Oh, I can,
That's, yes, what y'all got last week, it should be the breakdown for every department. That's when they did their presentations and they went over, I believe, the increases for some of the line items. But if
The
you,
breakdown of employees.
you want a breakdown of employees?
Yes.
Oh, in each department. Okay, yes, I can get with HR and we can get the count for each department.
I would ask on that end, if there's, like with any sensitive subject such as salaries, that whatever information is conveyed, that we not share with other staff, because I know that that's been an issue.
Yeah.
But that last budget had a lot of information kind of in there, good stuff. One of the things I'd like to talk about, and this just roughly on the 300,000, did a little math. with what the city did, and I don't know what our cost in the base was roughly, but looking at what the county is gonna spend, guys, the 300,000, we're doing, what was it, 28,000, 24,000 roughly. They're doing 850 feet. So dividing that out, how many miles we could get at that figure, our 300,000 would do 2 miles a year. Now, we've got 60+ miles of streets in the city. So putting that in perspective, we'd be able to do the city in 30 years, which we're gonna have to just address that. And I just to be thinking about things like that. And
Awesome
so,
grant writer.
yeah, well, that's coming, we're gonna talk about that, as those proposals, so, I mean, there's a lot of things out there we need to do, and the thing is, of course, citizens see the streets, and we really focus on that, but the things that are under the streets are just as important.
Infrastructure.
So we've gotta be thinking about where that money's gonna come from and how we're gonna do that, and just to give you a picture roughly of how far 300,000 will take us. Not very.
And I think that's, I agree with Rodriguez here. That grant writer is gonna be key asset to any entity, because there's a lot of free money that we're missing out. And we need to get, and that's gonna help, that'll help us. We're, like I said, we're missing deadlines, we're missing grants. Do we actually have somebody looking at this on a daily basis? I know that I'm behind a computer system at work every day.
I do, and that's a great point, both of y'all. I think we've got some good news that we'll be able to share with you shortly on that, with some things that we're talking about to provide those services that are just like that. They do that on the big picture, they know what we want, and they're, okay, this goes here, this goes there, so.
I think
So
now that
that's-
we can do that because our audits are up to date this year. So we weren't able to utilize grants because our audits were so far behind.
Yeah.
Well, true, that's another thing, so today was valuable in a lot of different reasons, so we're good. Okay, anything else on that? Jackie, you got more information for us? Yeah.
No, just that was the general fund.
Hey,
And
guys,
I will
you-
get y'all the breakdown for 117, and then I can get y'all the breakdown on how many employees each department is carrying.
Yes, please.
Okay, and that, and I know numbers can get kind of monotonous, but do look at these, that important, so come to the next meeting, kind of with some ideas,
We
thoughts,
just didn't
concerns.
have this.
And, yeah, and y'all, too, you might, if, once you look at it, you might call Jackie some questions, that way you come to arm with a little bit more knowledge, so that we can really make some good decisions. Okay, anything on that, or are we gonna move on to,
The one thing that's in your budget, council, I know that Jackie didn't touch on, we probably got to cut some things up on the utility side. There's an incremental increase a small increase of tax rates. I think we did a 5-year increase, and we took out the, what is that thing called, the surcharge?
The
Uh,
surcharge.
I think we're year 3, that'll be in the budget. It's not, and we'll share that information with you. Actually, it should be in the budget. But one thing that we did use ARP funds for, a significant amount was for utilities. One being, the refurbishing of our elevated tanks. We make a yearly payment, next 2 or 3 years, we make a yearly payment of $352,000, to get those things done. We did the one by the school here. The next one is
Cherry plant.
Cherry Plant, which is not this year, but next year, and that'll be done. And so, it's an expensive, thing that we took on. It's total, all in all, for a 10-year period, we're paying about $2 million, for those, upgrades. So we're looking to have these plants, hopefully, for these tanks at least, in air conditioning by the time this is all said and done. But we would like to use ARP money for that. We'll touch on that in just a minute.
okay, anything else on 6F? Council?
No.
All right, so we're moving to item 7A. Discuss and review the ARP funds, debt service, hotel, occupancy tax, and fire fund. City Finance Director?
This is just going into your detail of what was given to you on the packet. And we can start with the ARP fund since that was what was listed first. Here you're gonna see,
What page is that, Jeff?
Should be 7.
for the ARP.
Oh.
Interest in seeking?
That's not the way.
Page 80.
It's actually, we have it on page 80.
I'm just going by what it's an
Page
ARP
80,
fund.
last page of the
Page
packet.
80.
Okay,
Sorry.
forgive me, I'm sorry.
It's on the very last
There
page,
you
council.
Page 80.
Yes.
And here, council, you can see, what we are proposing for professional services. We're proposing $300,000 for that. city revenue loss, 350,000 for that, and meter replacement, 355,000 for that. And that is the total for, the 1,000,005. The rest will carry over to the 2024 fiscal year.
Right, we're getting $1,000,003.
We're getting $1,000,003.
And so what we'd like to do is that needs to change that line item, Jackie, that meter replacement.
Yeah.
Okay.
That item is actually for the refurbishing of the tanks.